Alright guys, it's hankmcgurk here. I'm going to give you an idea of what my loadout looks at level 8, what equipment that I'm carrying into the field. Night vision recon 10 times binoculars with a lightweight body. A Winchester hunting rifle. This is 308, it's got the best range, 215. So I pretty much can reach any target that I can see with a few exceptions. The reason that I have a quick eject mag instead of a large magazine in my hunting rifle is the lighter the weight of the weapon, the faster that you can pull that weapon up in combat and get sight pictures. Right now I have a medium scope, but I'll be getting a long scope as soon as I'm either able to strip one off a weapon I find in the field or build one myself. I have a 10mm infinite auto pistol. I was lucky enough to find this legendary down in the Concord Civic Access. Unlimited ammo capacity. So I didn't need to put a larger magazine in it. Lighter weight means I can get sight picture faster. Suppressed Glock 19. This is a polymer 10mm that I found and upgraded. I haven't really field tested it yet, so we don't know. I really don't know the capabilities of this weapon at this point. It fires a 10mm round, and you can see how better locational damage. A lot of the damages are kind of around the same. Now the 308 is going to be really powerful, and it can take down large targets and armored targets. It can headshot things like Yao Guy and medium to large creatures. Pistols, on the other hand, will only be able to take down medium to small creatures with headshots. So 31 and 37. Take a look at the damage per second for this one, 370 with a fire rate of 100. Okay, so the damage per second is going to be a lot lower on this, but if I need to infiltrate an area, I'm hoping that this will do the job. Now, I have fired this weapon unsuppressed already. I really liked it. You can see that in my episode where it says Concord Civic Access, lights, enhanced lights in FX, where we finally finished up at Starlight and I was able to take out a number of mole rats with it. I like it because it's accurate when you're firing it without looking down the sights. It just you can pop, and it kind of holds. It doesn't have a lot of recoil. It's not jumping all over the place. Serrated combat knife, damage 49. It's a fast weapon. I like a fast weapon with a serrated blade. I like causing bleeding damage, and it's lightweight. I'm always interested in having lightweight so I can deliver fast hits. Now, if you saw my video where I was in the Museum of Freedom, Better Locational Damage Museum of Freedom, using stab and break, I tried to beat a raider to death with a baseball bat, and I had a little difficulty with it because it was like beating somebody to death with a baseball bat. It took some time. He had a switchblade, and his little switchblade was cutting me to pieces because he was fast with it. I was able to block some of the hits, but he was still cutting me to ribbons, and I needed to take drugs to survive that encounter. So I realized after that, I'm either going to have a baseball bat with some kind of spiked, something that's going to cause bleeding, or an axe, or something that's got an edge on it and it's going to deliver the hits quicker. I wasn't able to take that raider down until I actually swung the baseball bat so hard and got hit on his head and hit him right in the face. He went down. Sawed-off double-barrel shotgun. The damage on this is 92, but it seems to do a little bit more damage than that at close range, but 92 is really, really high in better locational damage. Damage per second is 334. Fire rate 36 with a range of 35. Now, so you have to be really close up to make this work, but when you're that close, it's gonna die. Even body hits will do just fine. And in Better Locational Damage, you have something called shotgun knockback. So if I hit the enemy with the shell, it's going to stagger, which is going to give me an opportunity to deliver another blow before it's able to react. So I like to carry this, and again, I'm using the light frame receiver because I don't need real heavy receivers in Better Locational Damage. I don't need a really long barrel in Better Locational Damage. I don't need that longer stock. I need to keep this weapon lightweight so I can pull it up faster in combat. Okay, let's take a look at some of these explosives, because I am an explosive. I did take Demolitions Expert, and I've got a lot that I'm carrying right now. Some of it to be tested in the field. Bleeder darts. So in case I have to take down a bigger enemy, a boss enemy, something that's got a lot of hit points or a lot of armor, if I can get close enough, I can hit it with this and consistently weaken it over time. Incendiaries. Perfect grenades to carry because they're going to light my enemies on fire. And they continue to take damage. Instead of just taking the damage from the initial explosion, they're also going to immolate and continue to take burning damage for quite some time. Throwing knives. I haven't been able to put these to effect just yet. I've got these just kind of to deliver silent kills if I'm kind of in a melee mood. Basically just to impress the viewers. Not the most practical weapon in the world, but very, very cool when you see throwing knife kills. I've decided to take along a bear trap today. The weight is really heavy on it, but as far as I understand, I haven't tested it yet in the field. Better Locational Damage will make this bear trap cripple the legs of even huge creatures like Yao. So if I want to bring down a bear, I might do it with this. If there's a pack of dogs, I might set one of these up. The nice thing about the bear trap is it's retrievable, so I can use it and retrieve it. Caltrops, they're indispensable for what they are. It just takes a little bit of steel to create them, and it cripples the legs of unarmored targets that walk across it. So like raiders, any medium range creatures, dogs, it's going to cripple their legs. So it's a great way to limit an enemy's ability to get to you or sneak up behind you. You can also draw them towards you, and it's also a good way to prepare yourself for melee combat. So you can take out your enemies that are carrying ranged weapons with headshots while they're crippled, and then get into melee with the melee. With your opponents that are carrying melee weapons. Because that's just fun. I like getting in close range. I like getting up close and gutting my enemies. Incendiary mines. Again, these are only one-time use items, but they are going to do good additional damage, and they're going to immolate my opponents, which are going to set them on fire and keep delivering that sustained damage over time. So I may use these on creatures like big-time armored creatures like Mirelurks or Mirelurk Queen, softshell Mirelurks, and lure them into a minefield area. The alarm clock, good for distraction if I'm trying to infiltrate an area, an enclosed area. I may set this to bring enemies towards something that I've booby-trapped with either caltrops, mines, or an area where I can easily grenade them. Or I've pulled local explosives, things that'll light on fire in that local area. Gasoline, those explosive pressurized red fuel tanks. Baseball grenades, look at the range on that. I can fling these pretty far. I picked these up. I wouldn't ordinarily create them, but it was something that I was able to pick up a couple in the field. I don't like how the weight, it's a full pound to carry these, but I do like the fact that I'll be able to fling it far, so just gives me a little bit more tactical flexibility. It's a little bit more accurate to deliver, a little bit more easy to throw than the frag grenade, even though the range is the same. Now, we are using the Better Locational Damage improved explosives. So these explosives are going to do a tremendous amount of damage. This fragmentation grenade is a killer. It's a killer for you, and it's a killer for them. And the range, the actual blast radius is expanded. So you can catch yourself in your own blast radius of your fragmentation grenades if you're not extremely careful with the way that you deliver them. That's a staple in my inventory many times. The Molotovs, we're going to use these to immolate approaching opponents or big-time armored opponents or heavyweight creatures like Yao Gai or Mirelurk. So we're going to light them on fire so they can take that sustained damage. The Molotovs will end up... they're just so easy to produce, and that's pretty much the only reason that we have them, because they're easy to produce at this station, or this junction in the game, because we're only level 8. Okay, the bottle cap mines. This is where I'm going to be saving these for things like Mirelurk Queens or Death Claws. Something that's out there that's kind of surprised me with how big and badass it is. So I'll set those up and try and lure it into the bottle cap mine. I picked up a couple of fragmentation mines. Again, in Better Locational Damage, fragmentation mines, all of your explosives are much more lethal, but the blast radius is also bigger. You don't want to get caught in the blast radius of a fragmentation mine if it's set off by your enemy. So you want to recon an area before you set your fragmentation mine, because if an enemy walks around the corner and you're standing near or on top of your own mine while he detonates it, it's game over. Pulse mine. I picked up a couple of these pulse mines. I've only got one, but I picked up this pulse mine in case I run across a robot. Robots are heavily armored. The ballistic weaponry that I have is not going to be very effective against them. I'll need energy weapons to take them, or explosives to take them. So if I'm in the field and I end up in a position where one of those, dreadnought super robots with the cannon and rocket arms is out there and maybe approaching me, and I have to engage it, I'm going to set this pulse mine and pray. Okay, so that covers the explosives. We don't really need to go over armor. It's all pretty much standard stuff. My healing, Addictol, antibiotics, bandage. In Better Locational Damage, if I take a stab wound, a grazing shot from a 38, I'll start to bleed. Definitely a shotgun blast is going to cause me to bleed, and that's going to cause a significant blood loss over time, depending on the wound that I've taken. So I need to have these bandages to staunch the flow of blood. Otherwise, I'll bleed out in a quick way. Rad-X, Rad-Away, sealed painkillers. I like to take these if I'm in big trouble. Now, drugs have changed quite a bit in Better Locational Damage. The drugs last a lot longer. Stim packs, glowing blood pack. Chems I'm carrying, Afterburner gum. Okay, this is basically going to bring my perception up and my max AP, my damage. So this is, it hardly weighs anything, so that's why I think bubblegum is so important to pick up in the field. Yes, it does take one rad to take it, but that max AP 50 for 3 minutes, plus 25% damage for 3 minutes, plus 2 perception, that just increases all of my VATS abilities. It helps me when I'm sniping. It helps me get to multiple sniper shots because I've got additional AP, and with the fire rate on the bolt action rifle being so low, it's necessary to take something like Afterburner gum, and it has a good long duration, so it should last it should last for the duration of the engagement, and enabled me to get those additional VATS shots if needed with a bolt action rifle. Bad Batch Jet, we're carrying it probably to sell it. Buff Out, we're carrying it probably to mix it into something better, like Buff Tats. Because there's no reason not to take a drug that's going to increase multiple stats. Okay, so we've got perception, endurance, and strength. So that's good for VATS. It's good for extra carry weight. It's good for taking extra sustained hits and reducing stagger. Temporarily increasing hit points for maximum engagements. Calmax, probably my favorite drug. It's a little bit hard to produce because you need certain herbs that you can only find in the field. I believe it being hub flower or blood flower, perhaps. Probably hub flower. Okay, so my perception and agility +2 sneak attack modifier, it just makes it perfect for either infiltration or for sniping from a distance. Increasing both the ability to sneak because of the boost in agility and the ability to hit in VATS because of the increase in perception. Day Tripper, taking this along to increase my luck and charisma. Generally, I just take this when I'm ready to do some trading. Jet, it's cheap, easy to produce. Just fertilizer and plastic. If you get into a situation like I did with Wolfgang the other day, if you watch the episode Concord Civic XS Enhanced Lights and FX, you'll see where Wolfgang and I had a little bit of a disagreement. I told him to stop waving that gun in my face or it was going to involve me, and he and Simone went hostile on me at point blank range with fairly good weapons. So I knew unless I was able to get the shots off faster with that double barrel and there were going to be lethal hits, then I was going to be a dead man because you're just too close to take bullet wounds. So if you find yourself in a situation like that where it's just too close for comfort, you got to hit the jet and go with the shotgun. Med-X, it's also given me poison resistance and damage resistance. Again, I'll pop that when I'm in a situation where I got too close or I'm just too close to death and I need time to let my food, my bandages, my stim packs regenerate me well enough. I usually won't take Med-X entering an engagement unless I'm seriously worried about it, but generally when I'm bleeding, generally when just things are going wrong, I'm going to hit that Med-X. Mentats, we've got these along to create it, to make them into something better. Orange Mentats, I'm rarely going to use these, but the perception +5 for 8 minutes, it's +10% that's accuracy. So not only are you getting the boost in perception, it's going to raise your VATS accuracy over what you have, you're going to get that +10% on top of that. My perception being my primary skill as a recon scout sniper is the highest. So having a perception that's boosted above and beyond 10 plus a 10% VATS accuracy is just going to make it so every round that I deliver down range is going to be headshots. Psycho is only good for combat now. Better locational damage, the drug overhaul, that 25% damage does not translate into range weaponry, it only is melee. It also gives me a little damage resistance and it lasts for 5 minutes. So if I'm in a situation where I'm dancing around with an opponent that doesn't want to seem to go down in melee, that's what that Psycho's for. Now generally I'm always going to combine drugs to get better effects, because if I'm going to hit it, I'm going to want it to do the right thing. So this is going to give me a boost to strength and endurance and maximum hit points, all good for melee. Psycho Jet, I'm a little less likely to use this because it's just not, it's something that's going to give me that damage resistance, the damage, the maximum AP. So if I'm using bats in melee, which I generally try not to do, I may take the Psycho Jet. It's not a drug that I'm likely to use. Scourging Purgative. This is one thing that I use to get rid of my rads when I'm ready to rest for a little while. If I'm ready to do some crafting, it's just for a half a pound. It's way better than using, in my opinion, the Radaway. It takes a little time for those rads to start to dissipate, and you're taking an endurance hit for a good long while, but it doesn't have fatigue and immunity suppression, all these other rotten effects. So -9 rads for a minute and 40 seconds is pretty much going to clear out the rads from your bloodstream. It's not going to do it in a fast way, but it'll get rid of it. So the rads that I'm building up over time by eating some of the irradiated food, traveling through the water sources, the natural radiation I'm going to pick up from the environment by having to get close to barrels or other irradiated things, glowing ghouls, stuff like that. Yeah, the Scourging Purgative, that's what that's for. The Water Angels, same thing, just a little different. XL, I haven't really put this to use for anything. It's like a little bit of I guess it's a coverall drug. I would probably use it for for luck or charisma, if I really wanted to win a speech engagement, or if I saw a really nice piece of equipment that was just out of my financial reach. I would want that charisma boost. Okay, because there's no way I'm going to want to increase just my strength for 2 minutes. It's just not practical. The only reason I would do that is to carry something extra. And that's what we have food for. Okay. The grilled ragstag, that's the plus 25 carry weight. Very nice healing. 1.2 seconds, or 1.2 health for a minute and 40 seconds, which is pretty substantial. It does weigh a half a pound, that's why I don't carry a lot of it. But if I'm getting plus 5 to my carry weight, and it lasts a very long time, almost a full day, then basically it's only really plus 20 pounds. So I could carry a lot more of it, but I'm only going to carry as much as I plan on eating. Mole rat chunks. See, if I'm not, these are the types of things that I'm going to eat to get to the point where I'm not hungry. And then when I'm not hungry, I may eat a little extra just to get that extra 5 max AP for 15 minutes. Just having that half hit point a second for a minute and 40 seconds is not really great for healing in the field, but only weighing 0.2 of a pound, that's the kind of food that's not irradiated. It's just going to keep you from being hungry. Sweet Mirelurk roast. Another half-pound food. Okay. A little bit more respectable 0.6 hit points a second for a minute 40 seconds. But the rad resistance is what it's all about here. A little extra rad resistance. So the Sweet Mirelurk roast is not that great, but I don't have anything better at this point, so I might eat it if I need just a little touch of extra rad resistance in the field. And then the grilled rad roach and the iguana on a stick, those are just there to eat to keep me from being hungry. Okay, drinks. Purified water, that's a staple for everything. Keep you from being dehydrated after drugs. Keep you from being thirsty. And also good just to hit quick key if you need a little healing. Because drink a couple multiple cans of purified water and chew on a little grilled ragstag or whatever you have hot keyed down there. I typically have the mole rat meat hot keyed. Half a pound a piece, but it's a staple. Gotta have it. Gotta be carrying that in the field. I'm not really satisfied unless I'm carrying at least 10. I'm going a little heavy on it because I don't know how long I'm going to be in the field today. I also have dog meat that's carrying a little extra purified water behind me, something probably like 10 or 20. Because you'll be amazed if you get into a situation where you have to take multiple drugs to stay alive. It's going to parch you, and you're going to need a lot of water to get back to the point where you're going to rehydrate. Now, shine's real interesting. I love shine because you're not going to really... It's perfect for carrying out loot. When you finally... Or melee. If you finally get to a position where you're ready to exfiltrate and get back to a settlement, and you want to carry that extra piece of power armor, you want to carry that extra piece of, couple extra heavy weapons that you found in the field that you want to strip out for their mods, that you just can't bear to leave, you can drink the shine. So it weighs 3 pounds to carry, but that strength boost of +3 increases your carry weight quite substantially. It also gives you a little more hit points and lasts for a good long while, about 5 minutes. So you carry out 1 drum of shine and drink it when you're ready, and it'll help you get to wherever your settlement is or your sale point is. You're exfiltrating from a mission. Okay, the Gwinnett Stout I'm carrying for the charisma. It's just a little cheap drink. I get a little extra strength to maybe carry that last item, or that little boost of charisma to get a little bit better of a sale price, or to beat speech challenge. Alright, that pretty much covers it. I'm not carrying any junk, just have ammo for the weapons. The 308 rounds weigh quite a bit, but since my Winchester is my workhorse, I like to have about 100 rounds, right around 100 rounds. Never less than 50, never more than 150. 38 rounds, I'm just carrying these around right now for sale. I always like to have a few barterable goods in my possession so I don't have to sell a lot of my good drugs. And 38 rounds are basically just like a cap a piece, essentially. So that's 189 caps. It just has weight. Okay, my 10mm rounds. I'd like to have more of these, but since my pistol, my AP pistol is now infinite, that's just an amazing stroke of good fortune. So I don't have to carry as much 10mm around now. I'm gonna have to maybe make some hard decisions later on in the field about how much 10mm I'm going to carry, depending on how often I'm going to use that polymer 10. The shotgun shells are very, very heavy, at 1/10 of a pound, so generally carry anywhere between... I'm usually comfortable with a range between 20 and 50. I'll start carrying more if I can get my hands on a hunting shotgun, which is a pump-action shotgun. It's my workhorse for the majority of the game, so because I love shotgun knockback. But right now, since I just have the double barrel, around 20 shotgun shells is generally more than enough until I get to resupply. You only need 1 binocular battery ever. I like them because they don't have any weight. You find them, they got a lot of value. Excellent sale item, but you have to carry 1 to make sure your binoculars function properly. Alright, that covers it. For my loadout at level 8, I'll go into weapons analysis in greater detail in some articles over on Steemit. And as I capture some additional footage in the future, we can break down the weapon analysis a little bit more. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been Hank. If you want this channel to survive, please like, share, and subscribe. Got to get to 1,000 subscribers to keep this channel moving. So I would greatly appreciate it. It's good for everybody. It's good for the community. It's good for the modding community. There's 240 mods in here with 255 active plugins. So I'd like to give back to the modding community. I'd like to give back to all the Fallout 4 fans, and we can only do that if I can have enough financial support to edit the videos in this channel to create the videos. So it's been Hank. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.